Hello and good evening. Welcome to the Leaders Dojo. I took a break in July and now we are back in. Oh, yeah, yes. I took a break in July. Now we're back in August. And I promise you, we're going to have a great show tonight. With me is Audrey Loh, marketing maverick, a small chili padi, but definitely has a fantastic marketing sense. I've had a few conversations with her and our conversations are never short lah. We always have a lot of things to talk about because we're just so passionate about what we do. I come more from the content writing, communications strategy side, and she comes from a very similar space, but from marketing strategy side. So a lot of things we have a lot of overlap, and a lot of things also we have our unique experiences, which I think really helps us to feed off each other's insight and give us much better conversations. Just a little bit of introduction. If you're first time joining us, my name is Chee-Seng, and this is the Leaders Dojo. The show is about anything that is having to do with leadership, communication, and branding. Because I started this show last year in June because I felt that it's really time to have this conversation, especially in the pandemic world, in the post-pandemic world now. So many things have changed. Many things have been changing in the past decade or so, but things have really speeded up after the pandemic. And I think there are many important conversations that we need to have about leadership, about communication, about branding, and just how the world has changed and expectations of these things have changed. And this show is actually what do you call it, an expression of my passion for training as well, right? Because I love helping people bring out the potential. And I used to be a teacher for 25 years, but now I'm moving into training under Communications Leadership Academy, and this is part of that effort. So without further ado, let me get the opening credits started. Hello again, and please help me to welcome Audrey Loh, the marketing chili padi.
Hello, the chili padi sounds all too familiar.
I met you last year.
Late last year.
Yeah, right. It was just not very long ago, but somehow we just kick it off, right? And
Yeah, we
really
had
having
many
I
things
really
from
enjoy having conversations with you, lah. Lots of things to learn from you.
no lah, no, vice versa lah. Got so much to learn from you instead.
Well, we learn from each other, lah. Definitely, for sure. Nobody has monopoly on knowledge and information, lah. Okay, if you're joining us tonight, let us know where you're tuning in from so that we can say hi to you. Are you on LinkedIn or are you joining from YouTube? Let us know. Michael is here. Michael is my best man from my wedding. So I've
Wow,
known him.
nice,
I've known
nice.
him for so long. Thank you for joining us, Michael. Good to see you.
Hi, Michael.
Michael's in Sweden now. So what time is it? What time is it over there in Sweden, Michael? Chili padi as in the publication. Wow.
No lah,
This was
this is
some time ago.
not chili sauce, not that publication. Chili padi is like a little dynamite lah.
Chili
Oh,
chili
that's so
padi is. I remember chili padi is. There was a publication, but that's like a long time ago. I can't even remember when. My
really, yeah.
goodness.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel so young.
Yeah, you're probably in primary school or what lah. That time I don't know.
Tum.
Michael's in Sweden. What time is it in Sweden now? It should be. My goodness, is it in the afternoon now? I think so. Hi,
Hello.
Nohuda. Okay. LinkedIn and YouTube. Wow. Okay. It's got double screens.
Wow,
Okay,
this
Michael.
Then
you Audrey is the marketing maverick. Michael is the IT maverick, right? He's brilliant
nice,
in IT lah. 2:37. Okay.
nice, nice.
Thanks.
Thank you for tuning
Thanks.
in.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in on a work day. Okay, so let's get started. Audrey, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how did you get into marketing?
It's a bit of a interesting story. So I started off as a PA first. Yeah, so I worked as
Mm,
a PA for 4.5 years. Then I joined a new company and started ground zero. I was 25 at the time.
mm,
And decided to be a marketer because I always have something to say in all the meetings, right? As a PA, they're like, "Oh, why would you do this? Why would you do that? Can we try this?" So with the new company, the boss was great boss because he gave me the opportunity to be a marketer. I guess from there, in a very short period of time, I was really lucky because I was then seconded to China, and then
wow.
I was living in Australia, and I was managing regional roles. So I had Singapore, Vietnam, China, Hong Kong under my purview.
Wait, how
So
old were you then?
I was managing this role when I was 31 years old.
Oh, there you go, Chili Padi. 24 years old, was a PA. 31 years old was a regional marketing head already.
Yeah, I guess because I don't know it's a good thing or a bad thing because I somehow had more exposure overseas than local. So I
Mm,
grew to be a bit more outspoken. I dare
mm,
to think, I dare to say, I dare to try. So I suppose I always tell my team is that if you dare to think it, I will dare to try it. I mean, provided with calculated risk lah.
mm, mm. Okay. And then when did you come back to Malaysia?
I came back. Um, I came back when I was 36.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Is that when you started your own business here, or were you still employed?
I started Audacious. Okay, so Audacious started as a clothing line, and then it got
Mm,
into jewelry line, and then it got into marketing. I started it when I was in Australia.
I
Um,
see.
because I was on the way back, so I thought like I have to put a stamp there before I come back. Yeah, so I came back, and then my better half convinced me and supported me in starting my own marketing division because I always kept hobby at bay. I was like, I kept it as it is. It should be my side income. I just do it not as a job but as a hobby because I love doing it.
Right.
So marketing has always been a full time job. But my better half said, no, I think you should start an agency out of it. And so here I am.
Right. So okay, tell me about Audacious. How did you make the leap from clothing to I mean, how do you make the leap from marketing to clothing then back to marketing again?
Um, Good point. I have a lot of interests. I've been designing my own clothes for functions for years since in my 20s.
Mm,
Because I have friends who are designers, so I just get to them, hey, can you design something? And I love making a statement. So and clothing line was one. I thought like, okay, I like to design things, and so I don't do like mass design. So I do a lot of tailored kind of things. So when my client comes to me, I will draft out something and then I'll source for material. So I fly all over the place. This once I even flew to Thailand to look for Thai silk
right. Wow. Okay.
particular dress. Um, and then I also love jewelry. I absolutely adore them. So, and then that's when my mom helped me out. She said, "Come, girl, I take you to Hong Kong jewelry fair, convention fair." So I went with her. Mom convinced me, like, girl, I think you should just do it. Just learn, and that's how the birth of that came. And then that's the fine jewelry. And then I had a brass brand called Ava. And then yeah, and then now it's audacious marketing. So
Okay.
it's always been like as a hobby kind of thing.
Mm. But the way I listen to you talk about marketing, it's not, it doesn't strike me as a hobby for you, like it's like in your blood, right? It's like in your DNA.
I don't know. I think so, maybe. Because I find designing and curating ideas, concepts for businesses are very similar. It's all about being bold, right? It's all about um dare to dream lah, dare to dream, dare to think, and you just. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I always tell myself, tell all my team, what is the worst that could possibly happen? I mean, of course, you put your life savings there, then too bad
Mm,
lah. But no one asked you
mm.
to do that. But what I'm saying is that, just restart. In the worst case, just restart. That's it.
I think we before the show started, we had a little conversation about being agile and all that, and I think this really is one of the defining features like what you just described, right? When you're leading a company and you're leading a team and you just give them that permission, I think that really goes a long way. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. We better not start on that. Otherwise, we'll never stop. We better. I'm going to try and follow the questions, right? For those of you who have been with me long enough, I more or less have a standard flow of questions, maybe about 6 or 5, but we normally can't finish the 5.
Yeah, he really got grilling, man. I saw the questions like, wow, this one, like, no, not talk show already. This one, like,
Okay, Michael has a question. What does nest design mean?
actually, I really don't. Because you know why? I've never been to design school. So I've designed out of logic and passion. So I'm sorry, I will tell you the truth. I really don't know what this nest design means.
All right, no worries. As long as it works, people like it. No worries.
Yeah, so
Let's say hi to a few people. Yetmi, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
hi,
Sean, my
everybody. Thanks for
brother.
joining me.
Nurhizam, hi. Will this be uploaded in YouTube later on? Yes, you can go to YouTube and have a look. It's actually streaming live on YouTube as well. So once the show ends, it will be on YouTube permanently. Okay. So next question. Oh, what prompted you to start this business? Okay, we've done that already. Okay, maybe tell us a little bit more. What does Audacious do?
So Audacious, it's a marketing agency, but I would have to be truthful that I don't have a specific label that says we
Mm,
are SEO company or we're a social media management company. What Audacious started all about is we do marketing audit. So it's
mm,
extremely niche. Not many people heard of it.
mm.
Only very large corporations would know what is it all about.
Yeah.
So Audacious is all about we're a data driven company, right? So I can't pinpoint to you and say like, okay, you should do social media management or you should do design work or content writing because Audacious were born based on what we want to help companies, which we
Mm.
will do an audit. So maybe if I have a bit of time, let me explain what is a marketing audit all about.
Yeah,
So
yeah, go ahead.
especially marketing audit is it's crucial because what we notice with the years of experience, regardless of countries as well, everyone is trying to catch the next wave. Everybody is trying to grab hold of I need business. I need to move forward. Maybe we should change. Maybe TikTok is the way to go. Maybe it's all about catching the wave. But I'm the type who's like, I control the waves. I'm like, hey,
Mm,
hold on, take a step back. Don't go surfing first. Let's study the waves. Okay. So
mm,
first of all, so audit comes in to understand your brand first, what you stand for, your product placement, whether if the market is ready for your product, is it competitive, because it all boils down to acceptance of the target audience. It's not about you at
mm,
all. I know I have a
mm.
great product. We all have great products. It's just whether if it answers the audience, right? And
That's
then
right.
yeah, and then we have companies that are like been running for 20 years kind of thing and say, hey, but we did this 5 years ago, why is it not working now? Or like I say, hey, people grow also, and then so does technologies, right? So then we have to go back into history. So we're like, let's
Mm,
go back 3 years ago. I say, okay, why that was a successful year? Maybe we pack it against the external factor. What's happening in the
mm.
world, right? Maybe petrol price was down, or there's this huge
Right.
peak. And then now we are talking about post-pandemic, which all data is haywired. It's crazy because so our people are also trying to go back into the world, right? So
Yeah.
our job is to help company to identify what has worked, what hasn't worked, and why we should try certain things. Then that's where we're like, okay, now you can go surfing with these kind of tools at hand. So that's why we it's very niche. I know it takes a lot of convincing and explanation to people, but it is very crucial because sometimes people will blame, say, oh, how come I pay 5,000 to Facebook ads and it's not working, or like I pay 10,000 for SEO for 20 words, it's not working. So
Mm.
there's so many factors, and then sometimes it can be as little or as simple thing like the sales team and marketing team are not communicating. But more
Mm.
often than not, in Asian countries, more often than not, that salespeople are also marketing people,
Yep.
and it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. And we are like, so what we do is we help clients to understand, and we help them hire as well sometimes, or we help them um, reset the entire division where the
Mm.
sales has to be sales, the marketing has to be marketing, and we're trying to break the mold where people say marketing is a cost center. I say no, we're trying to help you save money. So and it's to build the vision forward. So sometimes we a lot of time, not sometimes, we interview internal team as well, like, hey, has this stakeholder know what's happening? Does your team member know what's happening? So this is
Mm.
what we do. We give a full report. So a standard um, audit report, it will take us about 3 months to do a full audit of the company. I mean, depending on the size of the company, but what I've been drafting and writing in report is about almost 40 pages long.
Wow.
So from your so the branding perspective and all that, but we will always tell people this report is going to valid for only 1 to 2 years maximum because time change.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
many factors to it, many factors. So Audacious is all about that. So you cannot come to me and say I need to fix my social media, and I'll be like, wait a minute, is that what really needs to be fixed? Maybe that's not what needs to be fixed, you know? So
Exactly. That's right. So
yeah.
wait, I need to say this. I need to practice saying this because I keep forgetting. If you have any questions or comments, do drop it into the chat box. We'll be happy to look at what you have to say and answer your questions. Meantime, if you have just joined us, do let us know where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from, and say hi to us, right? So that we can say hi to you as well. Meantime, Michael is asking, how much of the audit goes back into improving the product?
Okay, it's very subjective because there's also few different factors. Some company only hire us to just do audit and they're on their own. So they will, whether they use the audit or not, it's up to them. So like I can give you an example of our skincare client. So our one of these is very loyal client of ours. The improvement of the company has increased by about, we just did this survey about 2 months ago. We are 9 months into the contract. They are less than 1 year old because Audacious is just 1 year old, just turned one. They have improved significantly in about 32%.
Wow,
Yeah. So one of the
that's a lot.
example, yeah. So one of the example, it's they have a few businesses. They have a few skincare product. So they sort of like, okay, I let you play with the youth brand lah. Okay. Um, it's okay. It's funded by the aesthetic company. So what happened is, I give you a case study, right? Because
Mm.
they not just engage us to do the audit, but they have allowed us to revamp the entire division.
Mm.
And we took over the campaigns and strategizing, because we strategize all their sales campaign as well. So that's what we do. So we don't just say, okay, you need to advertise this and that. Good, but I will come up with with the sales plan. Like, look, okay, then I'll go through with my team, and then like this is what we need to run, because you have to pack it against a calendar. You have to pack it against where their sales orders from. Is it just Malaysia, or is it overseas? Because then we need to play around with all the calendars as well.
Mm.
So one of the most significant result that shown was where the first 4 months of the business after the audit, where in December 2020 to March 2021, they managed their business. The client managed. They only engaged us the following year, which is last year,
Mm.
um, year on year lah. So we came on board in November. By December, we launched the first campaign. 4 months as well, December to, because that's what the client want to see, right? The
Mm.
comparison.
Yeah.
Uh, so they use 30% of their total revenue for sales. But when we took over, we only used 10% of the revenue for ads,
Mm.
and we increased the sales by 20%.
Right.
Yeah, so this is what
Okay.
audit helps and do, you see. So when we identify and we correct the issue, and we hit towards what the audience wants. Yeah.
Okay. So that's what Michael is clarifying. I think so. What you're talking about is actually revenue, right? 10% in savings and another 20% increased
Yes.
revenue.
Yes. So he's absolutely right. So they are sales driven because we want to be sales driven as well, because that's what marketing all about, right? I mean, of course, we love clients who just say they just need to reach traffic and all that. It's easy, but we want to give more than that, because it has to prove something, right? Because everything is measurable.
Mm.
So it's mainly in sales, and mainly clients are retainer. So we have
Mm.
retainer clients. The drawing new clients are not okay. This is just our perspective. Okay, we like to retain clients because it's easier to retain clients than getting new clients. So
Mm.
because the bulk of the business is already there, you are not a young company. You're a few years old company. Hence, we will just say, okay, we will draw about 20% of new clients. That's what we want to do, because if you want to keep fighting for new clients, you well, depending on your budget, like the client got big budget, then we can run both. But for us, it makes more sense to retain existing clients than
Mm.
try to get new clients, because the database are huge. And with that, we even rolled out email marketing recently, and that alone has already churned out sales.
That, I mean, from the scope of work that you've been defining, it goes way beyond marketing, like it sounds like it sounds like you're doing the business owner's role, right? You're running the well, the marketing, of course, the business building, the managing the sales, and right, you have to take care of some of the operation side as well, internally, externally. Think of what's going on. I mean, this is a very unique idea because, as far as I know, even marketing audits are very, very, they're very niche and they're very focused, right? They focus on marketing. So, which leads me to my next question: what prompted you? What gave you this idea to do it in such a manner?
Can I tell you I mean, not can I tell you? Do you really want to know the absolute truth?
Yeah.
Frustration. Because when I was being and when I was running my own team, and I'm like, huh? Are you kidding me? Can you, I was trying to tie up all the loose ends, because I work in a publication house before as well. And so I have to deal with the printers, I have to deal with the designers, I have to deal with digital team, the web team, the offline team, the ground team. So, so when and it's so important because I had about 20 over people under me, and I'm like, and everyone's different, and it's very hard to get everyone's timing. So that's why audit is so important, because everyone will have different ideas, and it's a
Mm,
reality of things. The sales team
mm,
will have their own idea, the web team will have their own idea. So it is my job to make everyone understand. So audit. So I actually, honestly, I knew audit exists because we studied marketing, right?
mm.
But it wasn't popular because it's very time consuming. It takes months to do it, and
Yes.
you must do all the dirty work. Literally, auditing is finding things that you don't want to know. That's
Mm.
what that's what really is. So
Yeah.
and I have to go dig out every team, and I'm like, okay, what is this? Why is that? And then I have to tell it off, and then you will have all the fingers pointing like, no, this was not said, that was not conveyed. So my job, so I like, you know what? I will do it. I will do it and
Mm.
fix the issue. I mean, it's a painful process, but it's worth the end of the day. It drives results. That's all that
Yeah.
matters to everybody, because when everyone sees result, every division sees it, then they feel a great sense of relief.
That's right. That's right. That's well. What was the saying? Necessity is the mother of invention, right? So I guess if you're very frustrated enough, it's a good time and a good sign to actually come up with something new. Okay, now we're going to the meat of the show. With all your experience in marketing, and also especially now when you're doing audit, right? You're looking at the bigger picture.
Yes.
about what goes into marketing and what drives marketing results. In your view, and this is why we are talking about unicorns and dinosaurs today, right? Because dinosaurs. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to show a video. Maybe before you answer, let me show the video first. But
Yeah, yeah. Let's do that.
let me just state the context. So dinosaurs are these ancient animals that exist in the past, right? They don't exist anymore here, in our time. And then unicorns are some fantasy creatures that don't really exist, but it's in everybody's mind, right? Everybody can imagine it. So I think marketing in today's world, it's somewhere between these two, or rather a lot of them are in either end of this spectrum, right? So you're either stuck in the past with things, and I'll show you a video later, guys, and then you let me know what you think about this. Okay, my opinion, I'll tell you my opinion after you tell me yours. And then those marketing ideas are in the past, and then there are those marketing ideas, as Audrey, you said just now, before we started the show, people are really chasing the wave, right? We're trying to find out what the next trend is, and trying to catch that trend, uh, without really understanding what it is. So let me show you this video. Okay, some of you might remember this. This is from Ghostbusters, and this is the advertisement they put out. Watch this video and then let me know what you think.
Are you troubled by strange noises in the middle of the night?
Do you experience feelings of dread in your basement or attic?
Have you or any of your family ever seen a spook, specter, or ghost?
If the answer is yes, then don't wait another minute. Pick up your phone and call the professionals. Go Ghostbusters! Our courteous and efficient staff is on call 24 hours a day to serve all your supernatural elimination needs.
We're ready to believe you.
Okay, I have one question for all of you. The question is this: do you still see similar advertisements today? Yes or no? And what do you think of those this kind of advertisements? Right, drop it into the comment box. Do you still see these kind of advertisements, very very similar kind of advertisements? And what do you think of them? What do you see this today, and what do you think of them? Okay, let me ask you first, Audrey. Do you still see these kind of advertisements today, and what do you think of them?
I will tell you, it's true. All these retro ads still works because humor works.
Yeah.
Look at Thai ads. Their ending is
Yeah.
never what is intended from the beginning. People love it. It will work. It still works, but I guess it depending on the product again. This is very subjective. But yes, you see it all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so drop in the comment box. What do you think? What I see is this ad is from Ghostbusters. If I'm not mistaken, Ghostbusters was from a movie from 1982, 84, something like that. And what I see, because I'm coming from the copywriting side, right? The copywriting has not changed from 1984 to 2022. Do you have this problem? Do you have this problem? I have the answer for you. And call us now. Our efficient and courteous staff and professional people are very, very ready to serve you, blah, 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 blah. And unfortunately or fortunately, yeah, it's a funny ad, right? But the way it's written, in 1984, this advertisement was meant to be a joke because it's so cringe, it's so lame, it's so. Call us today and now
Yeah.
professional and courteous. If it's cringe and lame in 1984, why are people still using it today? Why are people still using this this tone, this format today? Okay, Audrey, what do you think?
Well, it still works simply because it's funny. I mean, it's cringy, but yet it's really entertaining. You see,
Mm,
and you notice the first line is, "Do you have this problem?" And like
that's
you said,
right.
it still applies today, simply because it's now more relevant than ever. People like instant
Mm,
gratification. That's why I tell all my clients, you all want instant result. I say, you pay me $1 million also, I can't give you instant result unless I can give people free money and then to have a certain result, right? So because people just want to hear that, do you have the problem? And I hear like, oh, I have the problem. Immediately they will stay and listen. Because if you are too fanciful, like certain things that they don't need, they'll just cut you off immediately. So
right, correct.
that's why it still applies. It's still relevant.
Okay, so Michael agrees. It's memorable. That's why it's relevant.
Yes, that's what it is. Because it is, like there's a saying we always say, it is so bad, but it's so good.
It's so
Right.
cringe, but Cantonese there's a saying, Q 唔怕唔怕
Pakao.
舊
Yeah.
Q 唔怕舊，最緊要受。
Oh, yes, exactly. So it is, they are just so many. I mean, like Thai ads. Don't talk about the sad ones, but if you remember the
Mm,
funny ones, right? Like certain tea, it's like it's so funny. It's like, what? You think about it, you think so hard. What's the relevance? But hey, we're still talking about it. You know?
yeah, but I just feel that there is a much more creative way to do it. I've seen an old ad before. This is, I think, from the 90s. I still remember. I can't find it on YouTube, but this really stuck with me. The ad is of a very old time ancient Japan scene, right? So it's of a man singing a Japanese classical song, and then there are two ladies fanning him, right? He's some kind of royalty or what, important person, VIP. So fanning him. So as he's singing, they're fanning him. Then one lady is like, "Whoa!" Then the other lady is like, "Wow!" And fan some more. Then the other lady is like, "Wow! Cannot fan some more. Fan harder." and the ad is for toothpaste because his breath is so bad. They have to keep fanning, right?
Oh my goodness! But you see, clearly it works.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I feel, I mean, for me, maybe because as a copywriter, we try to find different ways of doing things, but I feel there is a better way to engage with audiences. As for example, that toothpaste ad, right? It really gets the message across that, okay, if you use this toothpaste, your breath won't stink so much, right? So
Yeah.
with all that fanning and whatever, instead of somebody coming up and say, I'm very proud to be using this toothpaste because my breath doesn't smell so bad.
Yeah.
So it's really, um, there are better ways, I feel, to do. Well, that's on the advertising side lah. But I think on a larger scale, because advertising is just one expression of marketing, right?
That's right. Yes.
But
Thank
I
you
think
for
on a
highlighting that.
larger scale, yes, on a larger scale, there is a certain way of thinking that allows a person or a company to do the kind of ads like the toothpaste with the two ladies fanning, trying to fan the bad breath away, and the kind of company that wants to take the safe route and say, do you have this problem? Do you have this problem? Do you have this problem? We have very professional people to serve your needs, you know. Um, and you amplify that into a bigger picture instead of advertisements to marketing. To me, I see it as not just the execution part of what we see up front, but I see it as the thinking part that is behind it, right? That goes into it. So I feel, and that's where I think I felt the topic for tonight is really important. Unicorns and dinosaurs, where I think, um, especially in a post-pandemic world, many people I feel are still struggling to find their feet, because the world has changed so much. So maybe, yeah, then we need to come to this question, which yeah, I was going to ask you, in your view, how has marketing changed over the years, right? In your experience, and maybe in the past 1 year since you've started Marketing Hub and doing audits, what have you
Well,
observed?
it's very interesting. Marketing has changed tremendously. When I first started marketing, way before existence of Facebook, it used to be like that low. The result is like that low. People don't want know. It's not measurable. There's no data. As of now, if any of my team members come and tell me they cannot get data, smack them, because everything it's data. Why I say
Yes.
that? Because those days, like you say, those days is very ad centric. That's
Mm,
all they have: TV ads, TV
yeah.
commercials, and then social media, and then mobile, right? And then of course you have the word of mouth and direct selling. But what marketing don't change? It's creativity.
Mm,
And what has changed in the last couple of years is the technology that we have today. Of course, creating content is one of it. You can never go wrong with creating content, whether it's
mm,
writing, whether it's in the form of images, right? But what marketing now, it became so technical, where
mm,
I have to explain to my client, it is not just paying me for ads, it is also tagging the right term, using the right choice of words. If not, you get flagged, and then you have, of course, Google Ads, and then now everyone's talking about NFT and Web 3.0. So marketing has gone way beyond than just let's run an ad or an event or anything that's outdoor. It is way, way beyond that. I would say marketing now is science. That's the
mm,
reality. Because with the data that we collect, whether we use platform data, whether it's from social media like Facebook or Lazada, that as a seller backend system and all, right, it tells us the behavior. That's why that leads us to have to talk about GA4, which we are focusing on that. We don't
mm,
do GA anymore because as you know, but you'll be obsolete by July next year. So
mm,
all these tells a story, and then marketing now is like really can't say rocket science, but it is science based because um, I I started installing heat map for my clients because it is just not about having Google Analytics with you, but you need to know exactly where is the sweet spot your clients are clicking, exactly what, because we can change those buttons, we can put in products instead. So it
mm,
is really like not just an idea of a campaign of how to sell something, how to bring awareness or something. You you are directly leading your client to you to exactly what you
mm.
want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you can you let us know what are some of the dinosaur trends that are still around, and what are some of the unicorn trends that you see today, right?
Yeah. The dinosaur one, I would say I do have a lot of clients like that though still, that
Don't mention
they
names,
see.
can already.
No mentions at all. I mean, it's very much sales driven. Of course, they just say huh, put 2,000 ringgit on ads, very a lot of money. I say yeah, but your higher sales staff is also more than 2,000 ringgit. What you haven't put petrol and all these things. Like how many people can your one person see, and how much we can reach out. Of course, convincing factor is very different. So in terms of the old school way, it's just very much ad based and image. When we tell them let's do carousel ads, like have a few
Mm,
images and all, that also is a bit of a task because they just want to plaster out 50% off, or like we have this, and then contact us. So those are very old school. Those I would call them dinosaurs because now we are moving on to not even videos, live, like what you're doing now.
mm,
You have to be a
mm,
live or things like that, or shop, like straight away, instantly, you see something, you can click and buy. So
mm,
that is the ideal. But unicorn clients are the ones who have, okay, there are many different types, but there will be one that will have no budget constraint, so that like you're like, here's your budget, but like yeah, but you cannot expect 10 ringgit and get 50 ringgit lah, although your budget unlimited. It doesn't work that way. And then they want to grow into three countries in 1 year. I'm like,
yeah,
yeah, you give me 50 hours, I cannot. You get what I mean. So those are
yeah,
like really unicorn. And then we have those that have budget constraint, which is the most common thing lah. They have very limited budget, which is normal, and that's fair. And then they expect to reach for the stars. Like, how come 3 months already I still don't see result? We're like, we already managed the expectation. That's why, and this leads to how certain agency can say money back guarantee, but you have to sign 2 months contract or 1 month contract. We don't do that because we cannot explain.
That's
We
crazy
cannot.
lah.
Yeah, exactly. And this one of many conversations we had the last time, right?
Yeah, I mean,
guarantees.
how can you give a money back guarantee when you're dealing with masses of people, right? The only way I can think of that you can give money back guarantee is you set the bar very low so that he can achieve it. Like, for example, I run this ad and I'll get you 100 likes, and then you go to a like farm, right? And then you get your 100 likes.
Yeah, so these are the things that you and I will deal with on a daily basis lah. We will constantly meet with this kind of people. I think one of the biggest things that we are currently facing is SEO, which of course everyone's running it. Consumers are getting smarter, right? They're jumping onto it. And
That's what Michael is asking about also, I think.
Let's
with
see.
Data privacy being a rising concern, how can you get the analysis without breaching data privacy?
So all these are public data. So whatever Google gets or Facebook gets, are public data. So there is no name mentioned. There's only gender, your spending behavior, and all that. So these are very broad concept. They can tell you they're from PJ. They can tell you from Dinosaur, for example. But these are known as public data. Yeah. So it's almost it is not tagged to an individual. So that will protect everyone's data privacy.
But then there's also, I think, in our world today, to expect to be anonymous if you're a person online, I think it's really unrealistic lah. We are so easily traceable, right?
Yeah.
The moment you have any kind of social media presence at all, right, you're very trackable already.
You are. I mean, unless you just disconnect from social media entirely. I mean, you know what? Honestly, as not everyone has a Gmail account, that's it. You are almost done with your data privacy.
Yeah, even without social media, you're very, very trackable. With social media, you're trackable by other people, right? But without social media, you're trackable by corporations.
Correct. So unless you really like Dinosaur, don't even connect to the internet at all lah. Yeah. I always give an example. As long you have a Gmail account, you are tracked. They will already know where you log in, log out, what do you buy, because whatever you subscribe to, it's all in there. It's almost unavoidable.
Okay, what about some things that are happening out there in the world? What are the trends that are affecting marketing today in our world today?
Marketing today, I strongly believe there's no fixed answer because it's not a school. I think whatever we studied 20 years ago is also like we know our 4 Ps and the 7 Ps and all that, right? The trend as of today, let's just put it very frankly that we don't have an answer. The trend is whatever we are being directed to. That's the reality. Like TikTok. It works for certain company, it won't work for some. So the trend now is all 100% because consumers got smarter. They do their research and everything. They will start. But what is working for sure, it's definitely on social media. Because that's even the baby boomers are going on, right? So that's trending. Other than that, if you want to talk on the perspective of corporates, like big companies, I believe they're moving to NFT. They're moving to NFT to Web 3.0, simply because that is the next big wave. But whether it caught on or not, we won't know, right? It is a growing industry, but that is trending too. So it really it is. If you're talking about just SME, I will never gonna tell you to try NFT. Although I am venturing into NFT for 1 or 2 clients, we are looking into it. but it is not for everyday Joe lah. Let's just put it that way. So trends, social media, of course, when the topic of SEO and SEM, it is slowly growing. You know, we've been talking about this SEO like 20 years ago, right? But
Yeah,
everyone didn't see the necessity. But now, because everyone search for something. But one thing I noticed from our data that people are also not buying things. They are
yeah,
looking for things because there's simply too many things out there, right?
yeah,
So and
yeah.
now that's why SEO is gaining traction now because we get a lot of inquiries for SEO. And the same thing that I deal with, I get faced with all the time. Say, hey, Audrey, how come people charge this X amount? They got 10 keywords and they guarantee 6 months result. I'm like, okay, uh, thank you for letting me know, but I cannot do what they're doing because I only do one. Well, I mean, Audacious only do one SEO, which is unlimited
Mm,
keyword, because
mm.
you can't possibly rank on certain number of
But
keywords.
I have a friend who is who does this, and oh yeah, your partner Christy also, right?
Yeah,
She's
yeah, yeah.
knowledgeable in this. So he was saying few years back, it was just a few years back, like 5 or 6 years back, we were still talking about for bidding for keywords, right? Not that many years ago, but today, that is something that's out the window because the algorithm in Google is smart enough to try and deduce what your intention is,
All change.
right?
Yeah. Yes.
So from the sites that you spend time on, how much time you spend, the structure of your search terms is not just keywords, right? It's search terms, and so they will try and deduce your intentions, and it it just so amazing to me because technology has come to the point where where the computers can actually read a human mind,
Yes. And
right?
it goes
Yeah.
beyond that. It goes beyond that now. It is whether your art, the things that you post are original, whether if it's newsworthy. So it
Mm.
has, yeah, it has gone, not, but we still get clients say, "Are right only ma?"
Yeah. So this is why I advocate. I think I mentioned to you before. This is why I advocate thought leadership, because 10 years ago, yes, we were in the information age, right? When Google just starting to boom, and people starting to get used to googling information. But 10 years later, 10 years ago, I used it as a measure because I worked with Yahoo in 2012. 10 years later, with the advancement in AI, and people are already used to Google, right? It's not something new that they're excited about to search for information anymore. Information is everywhere now, whether you like it or not. Sometimes, right, it just comes at you. So that's why one trend that I see is really very important is thought leadership. Because when we have this information overload, we need some kind of function to make sense of it, right?
Yeah.
So I feel thought leadership is really, really very important because the good kind of thought leadership, not the crap thought leadership that I see a lot. The good kind of thought leadership where people like Simon Sinek, people like Seth Godin, people like Jordan Peterson, right? People like Gary Vaynerchuk, these are my big fans of them. They stand on a very clearly defined sense of values. They stand on a very clearly defined personality persona,
Yeah.
and they really contribute a lot of insights into the marketplace that help people make sense of the world around them, right? So Seth Godin helps people make sense of marketing and business, right? What's your like Gary Vaynerchuk makes sense of helps people make sense of the entrepreneurial journey, right? Simon Sinek helps people make sense of leadership and team building. So I think this is one of the key trends. I'm not sure whether it's under marketing or not, lah, but definitely this is something that is going to get even more important coming up in the next few years, lah, I believe, because in the information overload that we have, I mean, and you're right, people are not buying because there's just so much choice, right? People need to have a way to make sense of the choices. Even I myself, uh, when I want to buy something, the browsing time for me lah personally, because maybe I'm the type that's more analytical lah. The browsing time on the product itself is shorter than the browsing time for information about how to buy the product, how to use the product, how to maintain the product, how to get the best deals and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think and that's that part at the behind part outside of the product itself. That's where we need thought leaders, right? Really need to come out and help you make sense. So I think
You-
that's one of
right.
the big keys lah.
Actually, yeah. Now that you mentioned that's one of the pointers I wrote down. Also, you're right. Also, people no longer want to know about product. No one cares. No one
Yeah.
cares about brand. No one cares about what you do anymore. Because of the pandemic, people are going through a lot of hardship, right? Mentally, whether in person or financially. So it's all about me. Unfortunately, that's the reality. It's like, how does it help me? How is your product going to help me? How is your workshop going to help me?
Yeah, that's right.
Already spending power is not great. Okay, we all know everyone's out in the world spending money, but the reality is that people are also very cautious of what they spend on. People are spending on experience. They're dining more, they're going traveling more. That's why people are not buying things. They are really just not happening. Simply because it has come to a term that we don't know whether we'll survive another day. We don't know if there's another pandemic to take place. So when thought leadership, so people are very into thought leadership, and you're absolutely right, because people wants to see how can you help me, or what can I learn from you, like you mentioned the cyber cynic, self coding, because they have so many things to give, in knowledge that we can apply, right? And then also Simon Sinek has his own company. People who can afford him will just hire him. So it is the indirect selling, the indirect branding. That is the
Yeah.
key. People know that whatever it is on ad, there's even on papers, on age, you see sponsored or ads. We hardly want to click them anymore because we all
Correct.
know paid to do the job. Hence,
Correct.
coming back to your role here, content writer. So it's important that how the content is convinced, it's going to convince people to buy, or do something. That is how it has to filter through way beyond product. And
Yeah.
thought leadership is definitely one, because people want the face to the brand. They no longer want to see the brand,
Yeah, and
and
I think there's also another key trend today, right? And you're absolutely right. People don't no longer are so inclined to buy into a corporate brand, right? They want to see who is behind the brand. They want to see how this person behaves representing the brand.
that's right.
So it's very personal, very it has to be seen. And I think that's the other trend that we were talking about last time also, right? It's no longer about presenting an image. It's no longer about presenting a message. It's really about how you really behave as individuals, as companies, as brands in the world,
Mhm.
right? And that really has to be driven by the leadership within the company,
Yes, you're right.
right? The
And
culture that drives the behavior of the company.
yeah, so this is where you mentioned earlier, it goes beyond marketing, just beyond
Yeah,
branding, right?
and that's what
Simply,
Audacious is doing as well, right? Because your role is so big. I mean, old time, I mean, the traditional marketing, we just look at the results, right? Before marketing, after the marketing, and in between what the marketing does, right? That's all you do. But
that's
now you're
right.
looking at, okay, how do we do the internal processes more efficiently? How do we do the external outreach? All these kind of things. So many different things.
Yeah, and also because like I said, it could be a small gap within a company and you fix all the problem, right? It could be just communication, or like, stakeholders wasn't clear of it. And also the other thing about thought leadership, that because of the pandemic, a lot of people are lost. So like I say, our job, now we are also like a psychologist, because people wants to know what you stand for, and then more importantly, we are looking for our own tribe. We are looking for community. If you notice, you will follow this person because you learn certain things, and then if there is like, like TED Talk, for example,
Yeah, that's right.
it's always a group of followers who like, and they have different talks. They have the IT talk, they have the health talk. It's wonderful, and it's a community. So people are building community for people to join the community. So, and that's why the KOL are not working already. I mean, the reality is, I mean, I say it for what we see on the data. I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody here, uh, because people are not even going for KOLs anymore. They are going for micro influencers.
Yeah.
Those really small, because they do you know that we try to engage a few micro influencers, right, for our clients. They rejected our client product. It's like give me also the one. No, but that is how the new mentality is. It's they
That's right.
building a
That's right.
community that they believe in, and it's so important. And I have absolute respect for them, because they stand for what they believe, and this
That's
is
right.
how new branding is all about. It is not like, oh, the
And
person is famous. Yeah.
and I think it's very powerful because when you do it like this, it's very authentic, right? You build a community based on shared values, not
Yes.
just based on a particular image or that you want to be associated with the brand, like, right? So um I noticed this trend a few years back. um when my generation, the Gen X's, being able to afford a branded handbag or something like that was like, wow, big thing lah, right? But few years back, the young people were like, what's the point, right? I'd rather go for go to Japan and stand at the foot of Mount Fuji and enjoy the scenery there and take a photo,
Yeah.
right? Show that I've been there, and I know people who are checking off their travel list, how many countries I've been to.
Yeah, that's right. This is the trend, the new marketing trend, that it is a subtle part. It is no longer in your face.
Mm,
So that's why the dinosaur and versus the unicorn, it's very hard to describe, because the dinosaur truly, some part may work maybe for
mm,
ad purposes, for humor, but
mm.
how it was done previously, just ads or posters, um, doesn't work like that anymore. The
Yeah,
unicorn one, it's money will settle everything. Also, don't work like that. I say I love clients like that, but I cannot give you what you want.
yeah, yeah. So I think let's try and take one last question. It's already 9:30, Audrey.
Oh my goodness, as
End of
usual,
the show
Chee-Seng,
already.
it's always like this. When we have a conversation, we haven't even started with what we normally
Yeah,
discuss.
wait. Out of 7 questions, I think we covered 4.
Oh my goodness, we need a part two. I tell you, we need to do a part two. The next one,
Yes,
talking
definitely.
about
Okay. Um,
guaranteed results.
guaranteed results are very interesting. A lot of business owners will come and listen.
I've never got.
Michael, Michael is asking, how do you drive the narrative rather than follow the trend?
Okay. So this is I would say this is my forte, because I would always run into things that when people are not trying, there's always an opportunity. Always. Because if you understand, it's very simple in my mind. Okay, in my mind, everything's always simple. If you understand your client's product and you know what they want, of course, if they want 200% profit, I there's nothing much I can say lah. But then when it comes to driving the narrative, it's whether, first of all, your client bite the idea or not first. That's it. And when it does, you don't have to follow the trend. You can actually recycle things that has never worked for the last few months, and do that. Because while everyone is riding on a new wave, you'll see always the same thing. But if you take a few steps back and say, I forgot about this. I've not seen this for a little while. Let's take a look. Mindset. It's all about that. Yeah. So depending on the
Yeah.
brand and product. So it's how you also conceptualize the idea and sell it to your client.
Yeah. And this is always very tricky, right? Because especially when clients come to you and say, I mean, in my experience, like clients come and say, we want to have this tone of voice, we want to do it like this, we want to do it like that. And I always like to use the example of Nando's and GSC, right? They have amazing social media.
Yeah, fantastic. They jump
Yeah,
on it right immediately.
that's right. So, and then clients will say things like, "Yeah, I want to be like this. I want to get that kind of engagement. I want to be hip like them." But when it actually comes to execution, yeah, no lah, we shouldn't say like that lah. No lah. I
Yeah.
mean, this is too what lah.
Too obvious, or like like you're taking a step like that. I know.
Yeah, and it's like,
very hard.
yeah, and well, you can't get similar results if you don't do similar actions, right? And you
Yeah.
can't be doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. So companies have to realize that that a certain level of courage is needed lah if you want to do something different, right? And
Yeah.
I think in our world today, the most dangerous place is actually trying to find a place that feels safe lah, if you ask me.
Yeah. There is no in terms of marketing, safe is to do what everyone is doing. Just try it with minimal budget kind of thing. I think marketing is all about being bold. In my very honest opinion, it's just whether your client is also accepting of what you're trying to sell or sell to them lah.
Okay, let me ask you a question. In your years of experience, how many % of clients are bold enough?
Actually, not many lah. You just normally follow what they want. In terms of percentage, I would say maybe 40%. Definitely not half. Definitely not half. That's the amount I give you. But those who allow it, they're actually great clients. Like the skincare client that I was telling you about. Last week I presented them with the new concept of campaign. They just pause for a while and they're like, I mean, I don't mind sharing this. The content is up to you to curate, right? But the idea is, why don't you? It's all about. So the whole idea was about spending, right? But we are not talking about skincare or zero, none. We're just talking about, while you're enjoying the sun, enjoying going outdoors, enjoying your fine dining, all that, consider protecting yourself with a sunblock. That's it. We don't even want to talk about it. We just talk about. So whether it's an open-ended thing, you want to buy my product, you buy. You don't want to buy my product, it's also fine. But it is something that along the line. So yeah.
I mean, it's you have to try lah. If you don't try, you never know, right?
Yeah.
And another example of great marketing, I would say, is I don't know whether you know this or not. This is really long ago lah. Avis rent a car.
Yeah.
We had a campaign last time called "We're Number 2." So now everybody in the world wants to say they're number 1, or if they're not number 1, they're one of the leading or whatever, right? So their campaign was "We're Number 2." So that's why we need to try harder, right? So we need to clean out, make sure our ashtrays are clean. We need to make sure our seats are clean and shiny. We need to make sure our petrol is topped up, blah, 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 blah. Because why? We're number 2. We need to try harder.
It's fantastic because they are being honest. So this...
Yeah, and it was so effective. Everybody was so buying into it. They became number 1. They couldn't use the campaign anymore.
Yeah, but that's brilliant idea. That's actually really good. It's the first time I'm hearing it. So clearly it works.
Yeah, so there has to be some boldness to it, right? Because the normal thing is always, don't say I'm number 2, say I'm one of the first, one of the leading companies, right? Don't say I'm number 2.
Because it's what everybody.
Correct, but they dare to go it. They dare to do it that way, and well, they got the results from it, lah. Right? They really got the benefits from it, so much so that they became number one.
But you not now that you talk about cars, right? Do you remember the I can't remember, is it Europe or US lah? It's only one of these countries. Most likely it's US. Like how BMW will be thanking Mercedes. Thank you for
Mm,
making us number one. Or and then there's one time I think it was Bentley celebrating and everybody wrote congratulations Bentley, But it was really nice. And all this like wow, really good sportsmanship. And that works
yeah,
as well, you know?
yeah. And then the other one, the classic one, is always the Coke and Pepsi rivalry in the
Or
US.
the
I saw
American
one.
one. That's the
Yeah, I saw
best.
one ad was really funny. It was a Pepsi delivery guy. He took down the Pepsi, rolled it into the
Into the bar.
storehouse. Yeah, no, into the storeroom. He
Okay.
rolled the cartons into the storeroom, then got out. And it's very funny, like it's filmed as a CCTV footage. So you saw the trucker roll the cartons into the warehouse. Then he came out from the warehouse. Then he saw a Coke vending machine. He bought a Coke.
And drank. Yeah, those are really good. The Coke and Pepsi have really good ads. The Americans are fantastic.
Yeah, and it really takes courage. What I'm saying is, it really takes courage to really do something that is very different, uh, and high impact. So, but if we keep going back to what is safe, I mean, it's not just advertising. I'm sure marketing as well, right? The ideas, um, and I'm sure it's not just marketing, but in every aspect of business. If we keep going back to what is safe, then actually, then in if the world around us is like shifting so fast,
Yeah.
if you're trying to find a place where we can hide and not be affected, that place doesn't exist, right? We either run with whatever is happening in the world, but we run intelligently, or else we get left behind. That's what I feel, lah.
Yeah, and of course those ads are fun because when you know your competitor and only the US law allows it lah. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
all the
correct.
laws are out here. But you see, but some works because at that period of time it allows.
Mm. Oh, okay. I think we really need to end now, but let's look at Michael's comment. I once
Okay.
asked an Indonesian nasi pandang chain called Sederhana, and asked why only Sederhana, not terbaik. Sederhana is better because everyone has higher expectation of being terbaik.
And it's very interesting. I met a chef before or while I was working in this school, and he had 2-star Michelin. He worked at 2-star Michelin restaurant, and you know what he say? I
Uh,
only want to have keep at 2-star because it's very hard to keep at 3. It's okay to drop at 1, you can always go up, but when you're at 3, you have to maintain. It's exactly the
yeah.
same mindset. And he's like, no, I'm happy at 2. I rather maintain at 2. And so I have something to work on all the time.
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to move to 3, you're definitely at 2 lah, right? Yeah. Okay, Audrey. Yes, we have better come back for round 2. I don't even have time for your 3 key takeaways. No time. Sorry. Let's
Never
leave
mind.
that for round.
We get
We leave
everyone to
that for
come back
round 2
for
lah.
this.
Round two, definitely. So guys, round 2, book your dates. We don't have a date yet, but just book every second and fourth Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. That
Yeah.
is Leaders Dojo time. Okay. So thank you very much for joining us, Audrey. Thank you for spending time with us and sharing all your stories and
Thank you.
insights. Thank you to all of you who joined the conversation tonight. Um, Join me on the next Leaders Dojo actually is supposed to be the fourth Tuesday, 23rd, right? My guest couldn't make it on the 23rd, so we're going to have it on a Monday. This is a very, very special guest. Her name is Charlene Lucas from the Philippines. So if you are active on LinkedIn, you probably have seen her post before. She is a clinical psychologist, but what we're going to be talking about is because the next one is going to be the Change Maker series, right? Where I talk to people who are making changes in the world. we're going to talk about her being a victim of abuse to overcoming, and now she's a clinical psychologist helping other people to overcome, right? So it's going to be a great session, and I really admired her every time I talk. I've seen her on LinkedIn. So if you want to make time, August 22nd, 8:30, bring your questions and join me as I talk to Charlene Lucas. In the meantime, Audrey, you have any final last words?
No, I had a great session. Thank you. My final last words have to be the next session lah. Then we add some more extra additional interesting topics that we deal that we had to face.
Yes, definitely. Okay, watch out for part 2, guys. All right, so that's it for us tonight. Sorry, we are a bit over time, but I think we all enjoyed ourselves, lah, right? So forgive us, or say thank you to us, whichever is more suitable. All right, so good night and have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Chee-Seng.